In today's video, we're going to be talking about what 50 grams of carbohydrates looks like and how to stay under 50 grams in a day. When you are eating a low-carb ketogenic diet, limiting carbs is important. If you consume too many carbohydrates, your body will not be in ketosis and you will miss out on a lot of the benefits of keto. For the average person, consuming less than 50 grams of total carbs per day is the limit you need to stay under to get into and stay in ketosis. And being in ketosis is where most of the benefits of the keto diet stem from. But what exactly does 50 grams of carbs look like? In today's video, we're going to talk about the best foods for keto that are extremely low in carbs. We're going to talk about whether carb timing matters and what 50 grams of carbs from certain foods looks like. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a health coach and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, feel free to share, and make sure to subscribe. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook where I share new posts every single day. Today's video is sponsored by Adapted Nutrition. For electrolyte supplements specifically formulated for the ketogenic diet and for intermittent fasting, head to healthcoachkate.com/electrolytes and use code HCK10 to save 10% off your order. The ketogenic diet is a way of eating that is very high in fat and very low in carbs. Now, when I say very low in carbs, this generally means less than 50 grams of total carbs per day. And I always recommend looking at total carbs and not net carbs. 50 grams is the limit that allows the average person to remain in ketosis throughout the day. And as I said at the start, being in ketosis is where a lot of the benefits of the keto diet come from. These include rapid weight loss, increased energy, decreased brain fog, better blood sugar control, improved insulin sensitivity, improved insulin resistance, and more. In contrast, the average Westerner consumes between 200 and 300 grams of carbohydrates per day. Someone who is consuming a high amount of carbs like this will be in ketosis for very little, if any, portion of the day. Their body will be used to relying on glucose, which is what carbs are broken down into by the body, for energy. And because our bodies can only store a limited amount of glucose, to keep your energy stable throughout the day, you will need to be eating carbs every couple of hours. But when you are in ketosis, your body is burning mainly fat for energy. This is both dietary fat and stored body fat. And the body can store significantly more energy as fat. Even someone who is very lean has over 100,000 calories worth of stored energy as fat, whereas the body can only store around 2,000 calories of glucose. So as a fat burner, you can go several hours without eating and without experiencing a crash in your energy. And as I previously mentioned, 50 grams in a day is generally what you need to stay under to remain in ketosis. Someone who is metabolically healthy or is more physically active might be able to consume more and stay in ketosis, but for the average person, 50 grams is a safe bet. But what does 50 grams of carbohydrates throughout the day look like? And does it matter how you split them up, or can you eat them whenever you want? Let's answer those questions now. Carb timing. In general, I find that for myself and for most of my clients, the fewer carbs you have at the start of the day, the better. Your first meal especially should be high in fat and protein. This strategy will ensure that you start your day on the right foot, feel satiated after your meal, and have consistent energy until your next meal. If you start your day off with a huge influx of carbohydrates, you will see a spike in your blood sugar and you will feel energized. But as your body moves the excess blood sugar to your cells, your energy will crash. And this process happens fairly quickly, meaning the energy is short-lived. This is around the time a lot of people have a mid-morning slump and reach for a snack. But if you start your day with fat and protein, you won't experience this crash. And even for those who practice intermittent fasting, your first meal, whenever it is, should be high in these two macronutrients and very low in carbs. Some good breakfast foods to start your day include eggs, bacon, cheese, smoked salmon, mushrooms, sausages without added fillers, ham, butter, and avocado. And then for your second and or third meal of the day, you can include some foods that are slightly higher in carbohydrates. This strategy is known as carb backloading, and it optimizes your insulin sensitivity. Insulin is the hormone responsible for transporting excess glucose in the blood to our cells. For someone who is insulin resistant, their cells are not responding to insulin correctly and not accepting glucose properly. And the muscle cells are one of the first to become insulin resistant, which means that it is more likely that this excess glucose will be stored as fat. The carbs we eat earlier in the day are more likely to be stored as fat, especially for someone who is insulin resistant or has metabolic syndrome. Whereas later in the day, carbs are more likely to be stored in our muscle tissue. If you focus on foods that are close to zero carbohydrates earlier in the day, this also helps your glycogen stores to deplete further and increases ketosis and fat burning. And now let's get into the meat of this video and talk about what exactly 50 grams of carbohydrates looks like. Now, I am a firm believer in the idea that we should be eating mainly whole foods and limiting processed foods as much as possible. And better still if there is no nutrition label or ingredients list at all. Processed foods are usually a very concentrated source of carbs and contain very little fat and protein, which are the main contributors to satiety. Take these Nature's Valley granola bars, for example. One serve has almost 30 grams of carbs, more than half of what you want to consume in a day, and then only 6 grams of fat and 4 grams of protein. Something like this will provide you quick energy, but you're going to be hungry an hour or two later. So as much as you can, you want to focus on whole foods. Meat, fish, eggs, non-starchy vegetables, and low-sugar fruit. Nuts and seeds can also be included in moderation. The focus of your last 1 or 2 meals should still be fat and protein, such as meat, fish, and eggs, and added fat for cooking or dressing, such as butter and olive oil. These foods contain no or next to no carbohydrates and are also very rich in nutrients, so you can consume them in abundance. But you can still include some slightly higher carb foods as well. Here are some examples of those foods and the amounts you would need to eat in order to hit 50 grams of carbohydrates. As long as you're consuming smaller portions of the foods I'm about to mention, you should be able to stay under 50 grams of carbohydrates easily. Fruits. 3 whole avocados, 6 cups of olives, 2.5 cups of blueberries, 3 cups of cherries, 3.5 cups of raspberries, 4 cups of shredded coconut, 5 cups of strawberries, 5 whole lemons, and 6 whole limes. Vegetables. 2 whole eggplants, 6 red bell peppers, 5 whole cucumbers, 9 whole zucchinis, 9 cups of broccoli, 10 cups of cauliflower, 10 whole medium-sized tomatoes, 25 Brussels sprouts, 50 cups of lettuce, 100 spears of broccoli, and 125 green beans. Nuts. Now, just a quick note on nuts and seeds. While they are fairly low in carbs per portion size, they are very calorically dense. I would not recommend consuming anywhere near the quantities that get you to 50 grams of carbs, especially if you have weight loss goals. 3 cups of Brazil nuts, 3 cups of walnuts, 3 cups of pecans, 2.5 cups of macadamia nuts, and 1.5 cups of almonds. And that is what 50 grams of carbs might look like. As I said before, you're probably not going to eat anywhere near 50 grams of carbs from only one of these foods. But if you are below the portion sizes I mentioned, then you can pretty safely assume you'll be eating less than 50 grams of carbs throughout the day. Now, before I wrap up, there are 2 really important things I want to mention that can either make or break your keto diet experience and your results. Number 1 is electrolytes, and that is where today's sponsor, Adapted Nutrition, comes in. Electrolytes are very important on any version of a low-carb diet, including keto. When you are eating less carbohydrates, your body retains less water and also less electrolytes. Electrolytes are important for regulating nerve and muscle function, balancing blood pressure, regulating heart contractions, maintaining fluid balance, and more. Especially when you are first starting keto, it is critical to make sure your electrolytes are in check. A large part of why people experience the keto flu when they first start keto comes down to not consuming enough electrolytes. And Adapted Nutrition makes it easy to make sure you are getting enough. Adapted Nutrition is committed to providing simple, science-based hydration products from natural sea minerals. A lot of electrolyte supplements on the market do not even contain a significant amount of electrolytes and are filled with sugar, fillers, and artificial ingredients. all of which are unnecessary and sometimes harmful. Adapted Nutrition's KETO K1000 electrolyte powder was specifically formulated for the keto diet. It will not break your fast, and it will not kick you out of ketosis. If you want to check them out, you can head to healthcoachkate.com/electrolytes and use code HCK10 to save 10% off your order. Thank you to Adapted Nutrition for sponsoring this video. And the second really important thing I wanted to mention is to watch out for hidden carbs in sauces. A bit of barbecue sauce with a meal might seem harmless, and it certainly might be, but a lot of barbecue sauces on the market are loaded with sugar, which can bring the carb count up significantly. For example, Heinz barbecue sauce has about 5 grams per tablespoon. So just be mindful of your portions or opt for low sugar options such as Primal Kitchen and Undivided Food Co. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comment section down below when you eat your carbs throughout the day. Do you backload them? Do you eat them earlier in the day? Commenting on my videos and of course liking and subscribing really helps to support my channel. It shows YouTube that you enjoyed my video and then it pushes it out to more people. So thank you if you take the time to do any or all of those. And if you did enjoy this video, you might also like my video on the best vegetables for the keto diet, which you can check out here. If you want to catch up on my most recent upload, you can find it here. And if you want to check out my keto diet and carnivore diet coaching programs, you can find them here. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.